running that are equipped with a data recorder. 40 of them, around 40 of them here in the Bay Area, 5 on the East Coast, and 15 in Europe. And we are just at the moment discussing with our guys in China whether we can also set up some of these cars in China. And with these boxes, we collect a lot of data out of the car, and through our back end, which is a trusted backend that is running in Germany, we can collect data from the vehicle and from the car, and the customer can access this data. For example, he can look on the tire pressure. He will immediately see whether the tire pressure is okay. He can go into more detail and see all the different pressures of the tires from any device at any time. And he can also look on the trips he had made over the last time, the last trip, the commute trips, and he can get very detailed information about the trips. And we can show that information on a landscape, and that takes some seconds to load because it's coming from the server and it's all live data from the vehicle. And this is one of the last trips of this vehicle. And along the road you see a lot of data that we record. For example, if you set the blinker, for example, if you put the switches on the AC, for example, the phone calls you make, and you can really see everything on your road and can access it later and compare different rides that you have made now or in the past. And the car can even generate, and that's where we are working together with a small startup here in the valley they call CloudMate. The car can even automatically generate a video about the journey. And we show an example for that. We call it Daogram, or CloudMate calls it Daogram. And it's created automatically from the data that we collect out of the car, put together with certain pre-stored video. So to speak, the car will be able, based on the data we collect, will be able to create its own story. And you can easily imagine that there will be people and customers outside that would like to publish stories like that and on social media and things like that. So whole access to a lot of data in the car. And of course there's more to it, because there will also be tools where you can really interact with the car. And the first one that we like to show is a logbook. So if you collect all this data, you can automatically derive a logbook, a driver's log that you sometimes need for certain reasons. You have all the drives you made with all the data you need for a logbook, and you can, after you come back with your vehicle, you can collect all these data, and you can take over the responsibility for one of them and type in whether it was a private trip or a business trip. So you get your logbook more or less with a click of a button, which is quite a job to do if you do it today by hand or by other means. So just one example. Another example will be that we will be able to configure all the Mercedes-Benz apps that we have today in the vehicle, also from remote. So Stefan will go into that in a second. You see all the apps that we have showed you on the outside. They will be available on the net related to your vehicle, and you will be able to change all the settings remotely. So you can order them, you can go into the app and you can change the settings. For example, in the weather app, you can change the general view from 5 days to actual. You can change the first representation that shows up with a weather card from temperature to radar or whatever you like. And next time you come to the car, all this pre-configuration is downloaded and the apps behave in a new way. So you don't have to do these sometimes distracting tasks in the vehicle. You can do them at home, and you can do all the tasks, even the tasks that are not allowed while driving. So completely configurable Mercedes-Benz apps, also as another tool And of course, you can also look on your driving behavior. Of course, you can see your fuel consumption and things like that, but you can also look on the more social aspects. You can create challenges for economic driving. How was your accelerating behavior, your coasting behavior, your constant driving? How was it compared to others who use comparable cars? And you can follow it, and you can try to improve your driving behavior over time, because you can always access the data and see how your behavior changed and how it is changing against others, and you can even win or lose challenges based on that. So there's a social aspect also that comes with it. And of course, for all this data, we have a profile behind it, and we are very serious about security and privacy, because the question can easily arise if you collect all these data and you make big data analysis and derive different use cases out of it, how is the customer able to configure it? And when it comes to security and privacy, we really distinguish between security and privacy. Security is that all the data is flowing back and forth from the car to the cloud in secure ways. We always use a VPN tunnel or a HTTPS connection, and we always encrypt the data that run between our backend and the car. That's the security part. And in the privacy side, nothing happens by chance. The customer is always in control. He can configure each and every service. He can configure the Car2X service. He can configure the accident management, the vehicle tracker. He can even configure it after he bought the vehicle, and he can opt in and out for different services, and he's under control which data we are allowed to collect and which not. Of course, if he is refusing to collect certain data, of course he will not get certain services, but it's the only way the customer is under control of the data flow, which is a very important thing from our point of view. And on top of that, there's all this question that arises when you see these different devices. We use very sophisticated technologies for the user interface design, HTML5, vector graphics, and even more sophisticated things, so that we can easily adapt this vehicle homepage running on different devices, like your desktop or your tablet or even smartphones. So it will not be an app that we have to write for each and every operating system like Android or iOS. It will be HTML5 based, using vector graphics, running in a browser. And here, as you can see, Stefan is just reframing it. So this might be more a tablet representation, or we can also have a smartphone representation. And the graphics will immediately adapt to the screen, and it will be readable. It will not get cluttered or anything like that. It will always be readable and interoperable, so that we can run it on every device without the additional effort of rewriting the application for different devices and different screens. So this is also technology that we are investigating here, and step by step we will figure out what is feasible, what are the things that the customer really wants. We are testing it in car clinics with the customers, and then we will release these services along the timeline, so to speak. So here you see that different trends of the valley are coming together, and not only we will bring the internet into the car will become sooner or later part of the internet with all the possibilities of access to data, configuration from the outside, and that's what we call, all in all, we call it remote convenience.